Coach Adam Fossett, Coach's Corner, brought to you by the B.B. Carmer Alumni Association. Easy win over Woodland last week. Got to play a lot of players. And your thoughts on that 45-0 win?
I thought we came out strong, came out fast, scored on all three phases of the game. So scored on offense, defense, and special teams. So Raylon Sims got the defensive touchdown and the special teams touchdown. So scored quick, scored often, and got to play a lot of guys and pick up a region win. So after last Friday, half of our region was 0-1, and we weren't part of that. So always good to start out with a region win.
You don't want to be a part of that either, do you?
No, you don't want to be a part of that. The last thing you want, you want to win region games early and often, obviously, but you also want to make sure that you don't end up, worst case scenario, you end up in a tie. Because you end up in a three-way tie for anything. You start talking about tiebreakers, and that gets a little hairy. So you want to take care of business and win region games outright, and hopefully at the end of the season be that #1 team.
In games like last week at Legion Stadium against Woodland, you plugged in some people who did specific things that we haven't seen this year. Talk about some of that.
Yeah, we moved some guys kind of in and out, and we had to, like Richard Weed, we had to get Richard Weed some touches. He'd been pretty quiet over the first 2 games, so we know what his abilities are, and got him a chance and lined up at quarterback, took a jet sweep, caught a few passes. So just doing some things and being able to show, especially show on film, that we do have we got other people that can do stuff. So we try to display as many things as we can on film because it gives that next opponent even more to worry about and more to plan for.
You were determined you're going to throw the football.
We were, yeah. We've got to be able to throw the ball. We can't be one-dimensional. We've got to be able to do different things and line up in different formations and throw the ball and run the ball because as you continue in the season, teams get better.
Yeah.
And then, the standard is higher now. We're thinking ahead to playoff time and things like that too. We make the playoffs. Every week is tough, and it's win or go home. So we've got to be able to throw the football. We can't allow defenses to put 10, 11 guys in the box and just stop the run.
You used a different extra point guy the other night too.
We did. So Noah's quad groin has a little strain, and he's going to be okay. But Seth Pettit is a guy that's been with us, and he's been looking for kind of his identity with the team. And what can I do to help the team? And he plays a little bit on defense for us, but he said he wanted to kick, and we've been given an opportunity at practice to get some kicks in. And I literally told him, like, right before we went out the door of the locker room, I said, when we score, you're kicking the extra point.
Oh, thanks.
And he was like, whoa, okay. So we scored, and we let him kick. So I think he was 3 of 6 on extra points. And, man, it was great for him. It was great for the team. The team was excited for him. And, it just kind of shows the camaraderie that our kids have for each other.
What can that do for the confidence of a kid to be just basically thrown out there and say, hey, you're it?
Yeah, he's walked around with a little bit more pep in his step this week, and a few more smiles at practice, and but it's a confidence builder for him, and it shows us, hey, look, we got a guy that we can throw in there that and continuing to work and get better. We got a guy that we can throw in there that can kick some extra points for us when needed. So Noah's role is a lot different this year because he is starting on defense at linebacker. So we've got to have that extra card in our pocket to be able to use if he can't go.
And your running game continues to push forward.
Yeah, it was running game was a lot better, and we're getting better up front. I'm critical of my guys up front, mainly because I've been an offensive lineman all my life. I coach that group, and you don't go anywhere without them. Like you're not going to have the success that you have without those guys doing what they're supposed to do. So, Kamor Harris had 6 carries, 147 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, not bad.
So that's a pretty good stat line. You score 4 times and you only touch the ball 6. But
as good as he is, and he's a great running back, a great athlete, there are going to be some teams that are going to put everybody, and we're going to try to stop Kamari Harris. You got to have some other people.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, and that's the thing with us. And if we're in the backfield, you have Devin and Kamari in the backfield at the same time. You really have two guys that can run the ball, and you don't miss a beat if Rayleon's in the backfield and Devin split out wide, or you know, Richard Weed is there. I've been very impressed with some of our young guys like De'Arian Riley, Christian Jemison. Octavian Swain is playing for us this year. First time he's played for us. Those guys are receivers, but they're doing an excellent job of blocking on the edge, and that's so important. You know, a lot of people don't think about those guys blocking on the edge, but you know, our rule is if you don't block, you don't get the rock. So if you can't block for the run game, we're not going to throw a pass to you. So those guys are doing a good job blocking on the edge, and that frees up a lot of space for our runners to make moves and make cuts and do things at the second level to be successful.
Defensively, you throw a shutout.
Yeah, defensively, playing well, playing physical. There's some things that we've got to fix defensively before we get down the road. But we are playing well. Chris Wilson's playing really well. He's kind of commanded that defense, and
he's a big, long, bodied guy, you know.
Yeah, he sticks out there for sure. You know, very long arms, long legs, covers a lot of ground fast. But I've been impressed with his leadership on the field with the guys and getting us lined up.
And you play him, you know, either side, and that presents a problem for an offense too.
Yeah, no doubt. He kind of plays all over the place, and you know, the fun part about Chris is if we end up in a punt situation, he's got to punt for us too, which is the most awkward thing in the world, because he's, you know, like punt during practice is like the worst thing ever, because he punts terrible at practice, and then you get to a game and he'll boom a 45-yarder, or he'll flip the field for you, or whatever. So one of our new coaches he handles all our special teams, and we finally told him, like, you can't worry about it. Like, something about it when he gets to the games and gets warmed up,
the lights come on.
The lights come on. He'll punt a lot better. Something about the practice field, he just doesn't punt real well. So, but Chris is doing a great job for us and getting us lined up.
Ranburn, someone mentioned to me yesterday that could this be a possible trap game for B.B. Comer? Or what about Ranburn?
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking for me. You've had 3 games where you've played better each week. We've been on the road, but we haven't been on the road. So our only road game this year has been Chillsburg, which is 10 miles away. Today we're going to get on the bus and ride an hour and a half to get there. Different environment.
You worry about a Sachs game from last year.
Always. Yeah, that creeps into my mind. So, but I think getting the goal is to get there, and we try to get there early, but not too early. And we get there in time to walk the field and let the guys kind of get used to the environment and look around and things like that. Ranburn has a good fan following, good fan base. They have a good student section. So Ranburn is a very awkward stadium because the home side is like a double-decker stadium. So they have a upper level, and they put the band and the students in that upper level, and something about that sound just travels. It's pretty loud. So and Ranburn has, we've already told our guys, you know, Ranburn has the flashing lights and things like that we have here at Legion, and so, you know, be prepared for that. And
what about athletes?
The atmosphere of that. So, athlete-wise, they got some guys that'll hit you, and defensively they're very aggressive. Linebackers they're going to get after it. They're going to move a lot. They've got a couple DBs that'll hit you. Safety's tough. He'll come downhill and knock you back. Offensively, you're going to see a lot of buck sweep, a lot of quarterback counter, quarterback power. They rely heavily on the quarterback. We've got a running back that runs pretty decent, and they throw the ball pretty decent. So they try to kind of lull you to sleep with some run game stuff, and then they want to pop one over the top on you. So we've got to stay awake. We've got to stick to our rules and stick to our keys and pay attention to those things and not get lost with our eyes in the backfield. And ultimately, at the end of the day, play our brand of football.
And not looking a week ahead, as are a lot of people already looking ahead to Vincent coming to town a week from Friday night. But first things first, Ranburn on the field, and you can see that Vincent game coming up, and that's going to be our statewide game on WOTM. Everybody on Spectrum Cable in Alabama, some 650,000 households, can watch that game. So let's get by Ranburn and take a look at next week too.
Yes, sir. Sounds
All right.
good. Thank you.
Right before we go, volleyball, how's that doing?
Doing pretty good. We're growing a little bit. We got some young girls that are playing for us, but they're road warriors this week. They've been on the road a lot. Had some success against ASD, so that we're getting there.
All right. Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Calmer, our guest this morning, brought to you by the B.B. Calmer Alumni Association. B.B. Calmer on the road to Ranburn tomorrow night, kick at 7 o'clock. More day break right after this.